Uh, I'm Lilli Horvath. I'm from Hungary, and The Wednesday Child is my first feature. And it's not only a first feature for me, but for many of us in the cast and crew, including the leading actress. And this film is about this is a love triangle story, and in its center there is a teenage mother.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the actress playing the leading part, it's her first role,
Yeah.
and she makes a very special performance, I would say, very extraordinary debut. How did you find her?
It was a long casting process. I tried to be really open, and we auditioned lots of girls. We casted film school students as well, theater students, and complete non-professional actresses. And at the end, we found her. She's never acted before at all, not in film, not in theater. And at first, I saw a picture of her photo that didn't tell anything about her background. And she in the film she plays a girl from a very hard social background, and in real life she grew up in a very good family, but her parents are social workers, let's say. And so although she was raised in a very protected way, she had an idea about lower social classes, or so personal dramas in society. So and on one hand that made my work easier with her, but on the other hand I felt that her screen presence was very strong from the beginning on. So that's why I voted for her, and that was a huge responsibility. That someone who never acted before, and she's in almost every scene of this film. So this film is really based on her character, and we started to work, and she developed really fast. So every day she was better and better when we were preparing for the film. But my only problem was that she was showing pity for the character, because she herself felt sorry for her, if you understand. And I was always telling her that okay, that can be your opinion, but you shouldn't show that, because this girl Maya, the main character, would never pity herself, and you shouldn't judge her, but you should be her. And that was our biggest fight. But when by the time the shooting began, she was already Maya, let's say.
Yeah, because Maya is a very strong character.
Yeah.
So what could you tell us about the social background to this film? What inspired you to make it?
I already made a short film about a teenage mother who grew up in state care, and I personally had no experience with that. So I grew up in a very good family. But for that film, I was researching a lot, and I felt that there's a longer story in this topic, and then I started to cast there and do the location scouting. So I got to know a lot of girls who are similar or have similar lives as Maya.
And how about the microloan project that's involved in the film? Is it based on any real projects?
Yes, the idea of microcredit is not a new concept. It was I think it originated in the 70s in Bangladesh, and it became quite famous as you might have heard of it, Bank of the Poor, and it's telling it in a simple way. It's like giving people small credit, so not big money, but some money they can do something with, but not for granted. I mean, not for buying shoes for your kids or something like that, but to make an enterprise that can be anything. Our protagonist makes a laundry out of it, and this is given to a group of people, a group of 4 or 5 people, and they have to cooperate. And basically this is about reintegrating people to society. So if they start work and they have success, then their children will see parents who are working and so on. So I think that's a great idea, and it was launched in Hungary too a couple of years ago. First with governmental support, then the government just stopped supporting this. So it is now funded by private persons, and as I read about it in a newspaper, I was fascinated by the dramaturgical aspect of it. That there are these 4 people who are not used to cooperate in life, and they were not taught to cooperate, and they have to. So I thought that there was a lot of tension or potential for tension in that situation. Plus, there is a social worker who has to work with them, or almost to live with them together, who coordinates this whole program. And I thought that, okay, that's great that there's a stranger, and who is with them, but who is a really different kind of person. So, and that's how this love story part of our film starts.
So you use a kind of cyclical narrative. The beginning of the film is also the end of the film. Why did you choose that form?
That was a decision which I made in the editing room. So it wasn't planned like this, but now that when we tried it, I mean, someone had this idea. Okay, let's try to see a scene that really comes at the end of the story, right at the beginning. I thought that was introducing this character and her main problem in 1 minute. It's her investigated by a policeman, and there's one question where she was born, and she says, "I don't know," and then the policeman says, "What?" and then she repeats, "I don't know," and that's how the film starts. And I thought that was a strong start. And when we see the scene like 1.5 hours later, then it is filled with the much richer meaning, let's say.
I was also thinking about the style of the film. Most like social realist films now are made with a shaky hand camera and so forth, but you used a different approach. What could you tell us about that?
I didn't want to, or it's not only me, the cinematographer and me. We've made a lot of shorts together already, so we are really allies in that. So we didn't want to make something that is fashion now. To see what I mean. So, okay, that's in a way, this is a documentarist film and a documentarist approach. We use a lot of non-professional actors, but we wanted to find our own way. So it's not okay, the documentary film. Let's shake the camera. So we wanted to go deeper in our approach. And I don't want to say with that is not a good approach, but that's I think like using that just because it's nowadays films are made like that would have been a superficial decision, and we decided that the film will be based on close-ups because it is a story of quite complicated human relationships and emotions and how they change. So it's really based on faces, and we thought that this was the most important part, and that's it. And we changed our concept during the shooting a bit. That although I'll restart it. So we changed our concept that when we were after the first shooting week and we saw the footage, we felt that we should shoot more accidental footage, let's say. So carefully composed shots just didn't feel appropriate for this material. So.
Did you have any specific stylistic influences on working on this film?
You mean the images or the whole film?
Yeah, for the both actually, but I was thinking about the visual style.
I don't know. It's I don't know. Really, I mean, you know, you see a lot of films, but. No, so I couldn't tell one film or one director. You are influenced by so many directors. You see films all the time, and I think everyone who shows a young person in state care is influenced by François Truffaut, for example, and even if the film doesn't show that, so obviously it is still influenced by him, for example.
So how has this film been received in Hungary so far with its kind of social theme? And
it hasn't been released yet.
Ah, okay. So you're still
our opening is in 2 weeks.
Ah, so what do you think? What do you hope to?
Well, I hope that this film will provoke dialogue in Hungary. That's my biggest wish about the opening.